30 bài báo bao gồm các tài liệu phục vụ cho viết sách. Ông được xếp hạng thứ 18 trong số các tác giả có nhiều bài báo được trích dẫn nhất trong suốt 7 thập kỷ qua, từ năm 1946 đến năm 2016, theo một bài báo cáo của Hiệp hội Nắn chỉnh Giang Angle năm 2018. Về nền tảng giáo dục và đào tạo, năm 1974 đến năm 1980, ông học tại trường Đại học Quốc gia Kyung Nha khoa, nhận bằng bác sĩ nha khoa vào tháng 2 năm 1980. Từ năm 1981 đến năm 1983, ông học cao học tại trường Đại học Quốc gia Kyung và nhận bằng thạc sĩ chỉnh nha vào tháng 2 năm 1983. Từ năm 1986 đến năm 1989, ông là nghiên cứu sinh tại Đại học Kyung, Seoul, Hàn Quốc và nhận bằng tiến sĩ vào tháng 8 năm 1989. Từ năm 1980 đến năm 1981, ông là bác sĩ nội trú của Bệnh viện Trường Nha khoa Đại học Quốc gia Kyung. Từ năm 1981 đến năm 1983, ông là nội trú chỉnh nha của Bệnh viện Trường Đại học Nha khoa và Đại học Quốc gia Kyung. Tôi xin trân trọng giới thiệu giáo sư Kyung báo cáo đầu tiên của buổi hôm nay.
Okay, good morning everybody. Thank you for your kind introduction. I think there's some problem with my connection. Anyhow, my name is Kyung from South Korea. Actually, this is my second time to speak in this way of meeting. Anyhow, it's my great honor to be invited here and speak again. Today, I want to exchange my knowledge and experience about my background and within most context. I live in the neighborhood city Daegu, the capital city of Gyeonggi province. So our university name is Gyeonggi National University. Daegu is the third biggest city in Korea. I'm going to introduce by myself briefly. I finished my DDS degree in 1980 at KMU, and I entered the 3 years specialty program. Okay. And after that, we have to join the army. It's mandatory. I've served as a Navy dentist for 3 years. Then I returned to my university. Then I started to teach since 1986. Then I was retired 2022 February. And during my career, I visited Osaka University. So at that time, my research mentor was Professor Yamamoto. According to an article in 2018 in AO, Professor Yamamoto was the #1 rank about top 100 cited articles in orthodontics during the last 7 decades. Second rank, Toru Deguchi, 17th rank, Shingo Kuroda, at that time was postgraduate student. And they are my close friends still, so that's why I was ranked as the number 18. Modern orthodontics start from Dr. Engel, as we know. He developed very famous 4 kinds of appliance. And at first time, as you can see here, also Dr. Engel extracted teeth. However, after development of edgewise appliance, then this concept changed from extraction to non-extraction philosophy. There are 2 famous students, Dr. Engel. One is, as you know, Dr. Beck, and the second one is Dr. Tweed. Dr. Beck, Australian doctor, so he returned to Australia and he became a chairman of the Adelaide University. He believed differential force. Depending on the force level, the tooth movement will be different. So it means he didn't think about anchorage a lot. In 2005, I want to learn how to treat patients with a vagal price. So I attended the course in Adelaide University 2005. However, already they abandoned original vagal brackets. They changed from original vagal bracket to tip edge primes. Charles Tweed became a student of Dr. Engel 1928. However, Dr. Engel passed away in 1930. So he could learn orthodontics for 2 years from his teacher, Dr. Engel. Dr. Tweed clinic is in Tucson, Arizona, and Dr. Engels lived in Pasadena in Los Angeles, I think. So when I checked the Google, it took 7 hours, 35 minutes by car these days. But at that time, they have this kind of folded T. The maximum speed is 68 kilometers. Maybe from here to here, I think it takes more than 2 days. And every 4 months, he visited Dr. Engel and he discussed. And Dr. Tweed have to stick to his teacher's principle, non-extension philosophy. However, he agonized over frequent relapse and facial imbalance. Sometimes he was tempted to give up orthodontics. After 5 years practice, Tweed was disappointed with his result. So he studied his cases and retreated several cases by extraction of 4 first premolars. Fortunately, at that time in 1930, Dr. Broadman introduced cephalogram in orthodontics. So Dr. Tweed started to use cephalogram in orthodontics. You know the famous Dr. Tweed triangle. So 12 years research, he found 90-degree IMPA is ideal position of low incisors. Another 8 years later, finally he decided FMIA is more important than IMPA, and 65 is known. It took 20 years to find out this simple angulation. This is very famous display in Chicago in 1940. The first law is initial model, second law is treated without extraction, third law is relapse, then he treated after extraction of premolars. 100 cases is displayed. From these cases, he found this kind of famous triangle. This is Tweed Foundation in Tucson, Arizona. I've been here in 1990 to attend Tweed medical course. And he started his education since 1941. How many sets in original Tweed mechanics? Anybody knows how many sets? Change of set means we have to change of arch value. Sometimes both. As you can see here, we use class 3 elastics to correct class 2 metal occlusion without the extraction of premolars. We call it delayed extraction. Set 2, 3, 4, 5. After ankle preparation of low authorities, he start to use class 2 elastics after extraction of premolars. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 sets. Almost all the famous doctors attended Dr. Tweed course, then they never applied this complicated mechanics in their daily practice. And I think Dr. Tweed is the first man who emphasized the importance of anchorage in orthodontics. And he reinforced anchorage by tipping of hostilities, distant tipping, like a Tempest. And he classified into 3 kinds of anchorage preparation. First degree, just unlike last molar. Second degree, distal reach, almost gum level. Third degree, over the teeth open the low should be distal. This kind of occlusion we call it tweed occlusion. Still, to the medical mechanics, except this kind of overcorrection of the frame. If you read Dr. Tweed book, you can see the first, second, and the third degree anchorage preparation in the sample graph. Anyway, why anchorage control is important? This one case refers from Germany. Is my friend's daughter, and the German doctor promised to finish the treatment before graduation. However, this is the situation when I first saw her. Anyhow, you can see typical side effects when you extract teeth, then you treat anterior teeth there. Transverse bone, vertical bone, vitally deepened, and anchorage loss. I was very happy to see this kind of case again because also when I was a beginner, also I met this kind of patient a lot, especially in low angle extraction cases. Every year, when I teaching my students, I told them, all stomatists spend almost lots of time to spend to treat iatrogenic malocclusion created by ourselves. I think Dr. Tweed also faced lots of these cases after extraction of premolars. That's why he made his mechanics so complicated. And this kind of mechanics, we need patient operation from the start of treatment to the end of treatment. I think the difference between expert and the beginner is the how controlled anchorage better. And I learned so many different kind of mechanics from my teacher, Professor Sun. I tried almost all this kind of mechanics, but any kind of mechanics couldn't satisfy me because anchorage control is controlled by patient, not by orthodontist. I attended a Tweed course, Tweed Merrifield course in 1990. Anyhow, Dr. Merrifield simplified 46 to 6 after receiving permission of Dr. Tweed before his death. So, but still, patients have to wear this kind of 2 headgears from the start of treatment to the end of treatment. Also, we have to use heavy rectangular wire from the start of treatment. They do not use long wire or night wire. So it means we need very high skillful wire bending techniques. Anyhow, I attended this course in 1990. Anyhow, Dr. Merrifield said that the technique without headgear is like a ship without rudder. It sails along the path of least resistance. We have never thought to wear it this point. It means without using headgear, we cannot think of high quality of orthodontics. However, we need patient cooperation. And what is the most commonly used intraoral anchorage appliance in conventional treatment? I think PPR. Almost all the crystal extraction cases, I always ask my student to test transplantal bar. Transplantal bar, also we can keep molar width. Also, we can prevent form of side effect, transverse bone effect. Also, if we kick into more like this, if it goes move anteriorly, the root touch to the heavy cortical bone. That's why we can increase anchorage. Also, during swallowing, sometimes the ball can be intruded. There is soldering type or switch type. Now I'm using bondable TP bar, but the problem is the bonding failure. So I use this kind of one ligature wire, then I turn around the ligature wire under the contact point, then I bond it, just in case of failure. Now why skeletal anchoring? Because if you read Dr. Moy's textbook, handle orthodontics, there is one phrase. It's nature of orthodontics. One of them is the patient determining success of the treatment. It means even though you're excellent orthodontist, you cannot have good result without patient cooperation. Who is the pioneer? And Dr. Kriko is orthodontist, excellent, and maybe failure or 7, I think. And they placed one surgical screw here and the leads of anterior spine and tried to intrude anterior very, very successfully in 1983 in human being. However, after that, nobody tried to use this kind of dangerous weapon, dangerous tools in orthodontics. However, 14 years later, Dr. Kaname in Japan, he introduced 1.2 millimeters. In this article, they didn't mention the diameter of this screw. I think when I look at the cephalogram, it looks more than 2 millimeters, I think. And it was very successful. And Dr. Kaname gave us very, very important information. Only 1.2 millimeter diameter of microimplants is enough for orthodontic purpose. Dr. Bae, one of my students, is the first pioneer in Korea about using a skeletal anchorage in 1998. First time he used 2 millimeters. Finally, we found 1.2 millimeter surgical screw, which were used by prosthetic surgeon, which will fixate very thin bone. And around 1999, at Congress of Korean Association of Orthodontists, he introduced so many excellent cases using this kind of 1.2 millimeter diameter screws. After that, it spread all over Korea and all around the world. Also at that time, Osaka also started to use this kind of skeletal anchorage. This is our first design. Here you can see there is slanted neck. If there is slanted neck, we can insert the ball. Because there is no slanted neck, if you apply elastics, we can have some kind of gingival impingement. So automatically we can have hygienic space between elastics and soft tissue. That's what changed as using microimplant. And then I did a lecture at the Moyer Symposium in 2004. At that time, the chief editor of AZLDO, Dr. Turfin, said, I believe the implants will change the course of orthodontic care and will lead to significant change over the next 10 years. Already, almost all the doctors all over the world nowadays using skeletal anchorage. When I first used this skeletal anchorage, I used a lot to solve problem cases. Almost all the orthodontists have problem cases because patients determine the successful treatment. For example, the former case referred from Germany, I changed the bracket position and I placed 3 microimplants on the upper. Then I intrude. At the same time, I try to retract. So without patient cooperation, we can finish like this. If there's no skeletal anchorage, even though you're an excellent orthodontist, it's very, very hard to achieve this kind of result within a short period. There are many, many terms in skeletal anchorage: microimplant, mini implant, skeletal anchorage system, TAB. Many American doctors use the term TAB, but I don't like this term because all this kind of anchorage is TAB. This also anchorage device. This also temporary anchors device. That's why some doctors put one more or temporary pin anchors device. Anyhow, I prefer to use the micro implant or mini implant. Anyhow, this case was very successful. Why many doctors hesitated to use skeleton anchors in daily practice? Because it looks like dangerous. Also, at that time, we had good mechanics. Just for intrusion of people and the low anxieties, we had this kind of good mechanics, kind of intrusion art. Usually we say utility art. This is data. Dr. Bushang. Bushang is not dentist, anyhow, he's Cheng. According to his article, still many doctors worried about root damage when you press micro implant. Looks like this. This was done by our oral surgeon for intermaxillary fixation at the initial stage with acidic injury. Then, what will happen if we touch the root? We can expect ankylosis. However, according to the risk by using robots, using dog, even though this kind of severe injury, usually we had a normal healing historically. Also, Dr. Ben, when he finished the degree, also we did this kind of injury using micro implant. Also, there's no problem of parental ligament as 8 weeks later. This is a very famous study for implantation using monkey. If you use a monkey, many doctors believe the result. Anyhow, according to his article, their article, if this injury is less than 4 square millimeters, usually ankylosis disappears. Endodontics, we did a lot of ectoectomy. According to this article, about 5 to 6% we had ankylosis. Anyhow, any kind of injury by micro implant or drill is less than this kind of injury. It means, and Dr. Buyukilomaz in Turkey did human being case report. Also, they did this kind of research, but this kind of research is some ethical problem, so he put on published in the journal. And they did this kind of artificial injury, and they scratched on the cementum, of course, there was regeneration. Even though they encroached to the dentin area, 8 weeks later, there's regeneration. One of my students in Seoul, he penetrates root like this. And your patient had to receive this kind of endodontic treatment. Anyhow, after that, I could see some kind of regeneration. And in conclusion, ankylosis doesn't look like a big problem after small root touch by a micro implant. Then, what will happen after root injury clinically? Many doctors agree that if micro implant touch root, it looks like more failures. Just thinking. Dr. Kuroda in Japan, unfortunately, he passed away. He phrased micro implant and he classified 3 categories. In the middle, near to the root, touch to the root. Then compare the success rate. Anyhow, if micro implant touched the root, success rate was 62%. Even near to the root, 87 compared to in the middle, 93%. But we need more scientific data about this method. Then, how much do we touch the root during micro implant placement when you place in the middle of root? One time I did course in Japan, then I asked to drill, I have to cover this area with a tape. 1/3 of dentists touch the wood. So I asked one of my students to do research like this. We made this kind of model, then we measured intervertical distance, then we choose most commonly side, 6 side, then we select 9 interns and 9 also residents to drill in this phantom model. This is the contact ratio total group. 9 of these is interns. They have never traced micro implant in their patient. But also 9 also residents. They have already experienced. Of course, also residents have higher, less touch to the blood. And this contact ratio total group. As you can see here almost 1/3 of them touch the wood. However, for example, for right side, all the doctors touch the wood first one. And the lower, all the doctors touch the first molar, right side, touch the second one. It means there is optical illusion. All the doctors are right-handed person. Anyway, this article was published in AO in 2010. So I asked one of my students from Thailand, and he did this kind of research using this kind of guide. Then we can reduce the touch from 30% to 17%. So if we decide path of micro implant on the model, we can reduce the touch. It means we can increase success rate. Anyway, in my conclusion is that root touch doesn't look like a big problem. However, it will increase failure rate. How about infection? Also, when I first tried to insert micro implant, I worried about ankylosis. The second one is infection. The third one is root injury. You can see many implants, I think, done by lay people. Still, many doctors hesitate to place micro implant by themselves. I think tracing of micro implant is easier than extraction of teeth. Even orthodontists can extract teeth. Every dentist have ability to extract teeth. When I visited New York, in the newspaper, they worried about this kind of operation by lay people. Why doctors cannot trace this kind of small micro implant by themselves? This is big nail in between brains in Korea some years ago. Korea drink a lot. Second in the world. Number one is Russia. And it drunk a state, he fell down. Next day, he felt some headache. He visited a medical doctor. The medical doctor told him, do not drink too much. Anyhow, 5 years later, he took X-ray like this. The length was 6 centimeters, diameter 3 millimeters, in between brains. It's not sterilized one, not sterilized one. During 5 years, no problem. Why no inflammation? Russian doctor, no reason. When I did a lecture in Russia, the Russian doctor told me he drinks alcohol every day. The alcohol sterilized this nail. So, at the first 3 years, I always prescribed antibiotics after placing small micro implant. After that, until this time, I have never prescribed any kind of antibiotics after placing small size of microimplant. But when we did incision, I prescribed antibiotics. Then, do we have a proper size of microimplant? Some doctors prefer to use a bigger one, some doctors prefer to use a smaller one. Also, there is pros and cons, pros and cons. Then, bigger diameter microimplant and mini rate guarantee higher success rate. According to article Dr. Broad in Japan, at the time he was at Ohio University, he compared three kind of system. One is a bigger one, the other one is a small one I sent to him, the other one of course military. According to him, there's no difference in success rate. And when he used smaller one, more success rate than bigger one. Even though he did mini grade, there was failures. Even though they used more than 2 screws to fixate mini grade. Also, small one, the pain will not last more than 1 day. But when they use bigger one, mini grade, sometimes the pain lasts 2 weeks. After that, he always used very small one. Why small one is okay? This is some best case a long time ago. 43 years old female. Phase 3, patient denied any kind of surgical intervention. Anyhow, he placed 4 mm length, 1.2 mm diameter screws to retract whole dentition, whole mandibular dentition back. You can see 4 mm length, 1.2 mm diameter, enough. Any kind of orthodontic force, I think. Because moving whole mandibular dentition back is the highest the high difficulties movement in orthodontics, I think. Nowadays, everyone knows that small microimplant can move the whole dentition back. But at that time, it was amazing to move whole, especially mandibular or mandibular dentition back. And a big size microimplant are not needed for orthodontic purpose. So if possible, I try to insert small one because it's easy to insert, less good damage, high success rate in my experience. However, if it's smaller one, you can have more fracture. And I usually use titanium to make implant. You can see there's lots of fracture in this size of porcelain implant. Why use titanium for microimplant? Because of biocompatibility. There are 4 kinds of pure titanium commercial. Grade 1, Brainimark pure titanium. Brainimark implant made of pure titanium. Grade 1, 99.5%. But its strength is too soft. Yield strength, tensile strength. So if this number goes up, more strength. So that's why nowadays many companies use grade 3, grade 4, then alloy. However, this number goes up, the osseous power will decrease, but strength will increase. That's why they are doing surface coating in prosthodontic implant. Which one is expensive? Actually, grade 1 is the cheapest one. Grade 1 is very cheap. Pure gold is very expensive, but titanium is opposite. The most common used titanium alloy is around 6% aluminum and 4% vanadium. Same as the drive. Same material. Nowadays, nobody uses stainless steel drive. Why? We can make head big size. If head is big, it's easier to hit the ball. Which costs more? For some implant, it takes 3 minutes to cut on the low inferior part. However, ortho micro implant takes 5 to 8 minutes. It means the smaller it costs more. The smaller it costs more. Still, many doctors, if implant is bigger, it costs more. Absolute opposite. It means small micro implant costs more than orthodontic implant. So the smaller it costs more, the longer it costs more. The most commonly used were this size. Here 1.3 and the first 1.2. Then how about stainless steel? Unfortunately, we cannot use this kind of very strong stainless steel like 400 or 300, which I use for to make instrument. Very strong. But American FDA do not allow to use this kind of stainless steel. Only SS316-L can be used for implant. When I checked breakage point, almost same, but this titanium alloy higher than stainless steel. However, stainless steel, it takes a little time to be broken. But titanium will be broken abruptly. Unfortunately, we cannot differentiate which one is stainless steel, which one is titanium. Almost same color. But titanium is very, very light material. Very light. Yeah. We cannot differentiate with our eyes. That's the problem. So many doctors think this has same character of this kind of stainless steel. Also, you cannot see small size of stainless steel microimplant. 76L are really sticky. It's very hard to make it smaller. Usually you can see 1.8, a big one. That's why many doctors stainless steel is high strength than titanium. But it's not true. That's why we use titanium drive compared to stainless steel drive. Anyhow, we have to know the breakage point of microimplant which you are using. So when I took course, always I did a lot of breakage exercise. If you feel breakage point in your 2 fingers, you will never break microimplant in your patient. Okay, also I compared success rate of titanium alloy and stainless steel microimplant. And according to my student annual study, there's no difference statistically, but a little higher failures in stainless steel. Also, I tried 8 microimplant in real patient. SS, one of them was failed. Anyhow, there's no difference in success rate, I think. Sometimes doctors send me an email. Your microimplant contains nickel or not? Because my patient has nickel alloys. So when I look at the real sheet, there's no nickel contains, unfortunately. Anyhow, stainless steel microimplants are not stronger than titanium alloy microimplant. This stainless steel is, this one. This one is very strong, but we cannot use this material for implant because American FDA do not allow. How about coating? Also, we did animal research. Also, when coating, also the removable torque was increased, of course. However, success rate, machines, anodizing, there is no difference in my clinical experience. When I did calcium grafting, when I insert 3 of them, 2 of them was failed, so I stopped. And it means you do not need to do surface coating for microimplant. Why? This case treated one of my friends in Seoul, and then they placed 2 microimplant. It's made of grade 2 pure titanium at the time. After using them, they want to remove, but they couldn't. And also the microimplant should be removed easily. That is the big difference between prosthetic one. Prosthetic one, the best way is to last until die. So especially when you place micro in the mandible, with the thick one, especially coated one, also you should be very careful. So coated microimplant not necessary for also purpose in my experience. Surface coating do not cost a lot, 87, less production. Also, how can you place microimplant? When you use pure titanium, we always did drilling to prevent fracture. Drilling, then we insert. But after changing the material from titanium alloy, we can insert without drilling. So at first generation, the tip is round because we have to drill first. So if the tip is round, if touched good, we do not need to worry about good penetration. After changing material from pure titanium to titanium alloy, we can insert without drilling. So the tip is very sharp. Also, you should be very careful to not break the tip if you insert without drilling. Almost all the doctors, including me, prefer to insert without drilling. This is cover case in 2010 AJDO by Professor Kim. Anyhow, cortical damage, microfracture, like microfracture. Then they use larger diameter without drilling, more great micro damage. So if you use thick one, we can have very high initial tightness. But that kind of high initial tightness do not guarantee higher success rate. Maybe that because of microfracture. I'm not sure, but we are just thinking. This was research done one of my students with Professor Ba, and they compared angulation. Depending on angulation, they compared cortical bone damage. Of course, if they increase angulation, we can have more damage. So, whenever you place microimplant, think which size, which way is best in each individual patient. There is no strict rule. There is no strict rule. Initial tightness, of course, as I said before, if you use a bigger one, bigger diameter, the initial top force is increased. If the bone is dense, of course, there's a big difference. 200 pound cubic force, I think. Anyway. This one looks like cancerous bone. This one looks like cortical bone. So anyhow, we use bigger diameter, we can have high initial tightness, but it do not guarantee high success rate. That's why we did a lot of research using FEM study. Same diameter, then we want to reduce initial tightness. You can see same diameter, depending on the design, the top, initial top is different. According to one article, clinical article from Japan, this famous article, and according to him, trough initial tightness is less than 10 Newton centimeters. If initial tightness is higher than 10 Newton centimeters, more failures in clinical. Then how can we measure 10 Newton centimeters without top gauge? Here's pen. I rotate only two fingers, thumb and index finger. If you put heavy resistance, it's about 10 Newton centimeters. It means if you cannot insert microimplant with two fingers, remove and drill, then insert. Do not use arm or do not use wrist force. It will work. Try to insert with two fingers. Force application timing. Nowadays, most doctors apply force immediately. But at first time, many doctors wait for osseointegration. And according to Professor Yamamoto, there's no difference in success rate statistically, immediate and delayed. Data is higher in immediate growth, and statistically there's no difference. This T is 1.2 microimplant which I'm using commonly. This is bovine cow rib. Cow rib is similar to human mandible. Then I insert, then I want to take it out. When I apply 23 kilogram force, we could take it out. But usually we apply force horizontally. When I apply 28 kilogram force, 1.3 microimplant, 4 diameters only 0.8 was broken. What is optimum ultimate force level? Less than 300 grams. Less than 300 grams. It means just mechanical net tension is enough to withstand any kind of all-stop force. That's why we refer to this very thin one. Why immediate loading is possible? This is my patient for distraction osteogenesis. You can see we insert the pin, we have to apply force immediately. At least within 3 days, we have to apply force. There's no timing of osseointegration, even though we use titanium screw. This is the red system, also kind of mechanical tension to apply force. So, anyhow, in conclusion, if it is needed, you may apply force immediately. How about success rate of microimplant? Anyhow, in prosthodontic implant, usually higher success rate in mandible. However, in orthodontic microimplant, higher success rate in maximum. It's opposite. Still, we do not know why we have more failures in mandible in orthodontic microimplant. It is good research theme, I think. Just my thinking. Why more failures? I think more result and external force. Because this is one of my patient, press 3, then I insert 1.6 mm diameter of bracket head microimplant, then I apply the force. After that, I try to retract all anterior dentition back. What happened? Several months later, it was failed. Then I removed it, it was bent. It means they received high stress during mastication. I think that's one reason, but we need more scientific data. So I prefer to more smaller head size too. Then head is smaller, we can have less external stress during mastication. Also, after using microimplant, we have alternative problems. Fracture, infection, root resorption, root injury, soft tissue rotation failure. I'm going to show one last case by Dr. Bear. You can see one patient, no problem. And upper, so anyhow, check complaint is bilateral protrusion. We have to retract first 3 molars, then apply of microimplant, then retract 6 antlers together. What happened? Non-modeling of adrenal bone. Some patients, not all the patients, especially adult patient, only adrenal retraction. Sometimes we see this kind of non-modeling. I think bone metabolism do not catch up the speed of tooth movement, I think, after using this kind of straight anchorage. You can see almost perfect translation. However, patient complained, so he took medical CT. He wanted to see what happened. This is cephalogram. You can see non-modeling alveolar bone. But our side. So he sent his patient to take medical CT. Almost no alveolar spot. Then it's okay to retract until it is 5 or 6 millimeters back. And a patient receives alveoloplasty, then more change of facial profile, with retention. Then 5 years later, he took combined CT this time. Nowadays we can use combined CT. Fortunately, you can see new alveolar bone orthogonal spot. Fortunately. So after retraction on this back, if we took X-ray, in many cases you cannot see alveolar spot. But there is no gingival recession. It's better to wait. I think. This case was published in article in 2018 in AJO. If you are interested, you may search this article. Okay, if Dr. Moyes is still alive, maybe you erase this phrase in his textbook, because now we can control anchors by ourselves, not patient. Thank you for your kind attention. Because of limited time, I will submit my presentation. Any questions? Okay, if you have any questions, you can ask me privately. Time is very delayed. Thank you for the question.
Thank you very much for your very interesting presentation.
Mời các vị đại biểu nghỉ giải lao. Đến 10 giờ 30 thì chúng ta bắt đầu quay lại phiên tiếp theo ạ. Xin lỗi các vị đại biểu là 10 giờ chúng ta quay lại phiên thứ hai ạ.
Ban tổ chức xin được phép được nhắc lại với các quý hội thảo viên là chúng ta có rất nhiều phần quà thông qua các cái game show. Chúng ta có cái mini game show ở trên fanpage của Yale, tức là cái mini